I'm already, hey, beautiful people, I'm already live. All right, so my name is Celeste. If you've never watched me before, I come on YouTube to record my bonus episodes live. My bonus episodes are on podcasts, so I'm literally streaming on every podcasting platform. I'm currently in over 115 countries, so I'm excited about that. So I'm going to press play so I can start recording this podcast. All right. Hey, beautiful people. Thank you so much for joining another episode of Celeste the Therapist Podcast. My name is Celeste. I'm a therapist from Boston. If you've never been here before, thank you so much for being here. My bonus episodes I record live on YouTube. So if you ever want to check them out live, you can go on YouTube and subscribe to me. Really quick, I want you guys to know my relationship goals course is in full effect. I created a relationship goals course that will guide you into having a healthy relationships. It's an 8-step course where you can do it at your own pace. I designed the course for you to work on it individually or with a partner, or even if you're single and want to kind of work on understanding the fundamentals and the things that you need to have a healthy relationship. So I did that. Also, I wanted to remind my people that, hey, what's up, Maurice? So I'm recording this live on YouTube, which is why I'm speaking and saying, hey. I also wanted to remind people that I have a live podcast show coming out in May. We're going to be in California. So I'm going to be in California with a special guest. I'm excited about that. And we're going to have a regular scheduled program in front of an audience. And so that's super exciting. So if you are in the California, LA area, make sure you keep me locked in for that. So today, what we're going to talk about, on my bonus episodes, I talk about issues that we go through, and then I want to kind of help you think about some solutions and ways in which you can deal with them. Hey, I want to help you think about ways in which you can deal with them. So today I'm talking about this idea of like, I'm struggling, but I don't know where to start. And this is an exercise I like to give my clients during like our first few sessions. So I wanted to share it with you guys. So you guys know, really quick before we start this episode, I have the relationship goals course. So that's a guide to a healthy relationship. I also have another course coming out that will guide you through intentional living. So I have a guided journal called 365 Days of Intentional Living. And I'm creating a course around that journal because the goal, like the way I see myself delivering messages, or the goal that I want to help people understand, is how to be more intentional and how to create systems in their life so that they can have more peace despite what's happening in the world. Because, we can't help what's happening in the world. We can only work on the way that we respond. And I feel like so many of us have not been set up for success in having emotional wellness, where we understand how we can respond to things that take place. And a lot of times it's things that happens that aren't our fault. So I really want to help people kind of get to that place of developing these healthy systems for themselves. So one of the things that I like to do with people is talk about this wellness wheel. This is a wellness wheel. If you Google wellness wheel, you will be able to find 1,000,001 charts. I always encourage people to create their own. But one of the things that people go through is that when they're struggling in life, they tend to not really work on anything, because it's like, where do I start, right? I got a whole lot going on, but I don't know where do I start to work on the things that I'm struggling with. So there's this wellness. Well, if you find me on YouTube, you can see I have it held up, but there's this wellness wheel, and it has different categories. I want to teach you guys like one way to kind of start the process of like, where do I start working on the struggles that I have? Because what tends to happen is that when we're struggling in one area of our life, that area can be so bad that we don't look at the other areas that may be going well. And then sometimes there's like different pockets of our lives that we're struggling in, and it feels like there's no way out, like there's no way to start the process because it feels like it's heavy, right? So I tell people, like, I like to use analogies. So if there was a fire, there was these small fires happening, and instead of dealing with the fire, we just kind of cover it up because we don't want to deal with it right now. But if you cover up a fire and don't deal with it, it's just going to keep spreading, right? And so I think that if we're not looking at the areas of our lives that we're struggling in and really thinking and being more solution focused with dealing with it, it's going to spread to different areas. I feel like the other areas start to get tainted. So these areas, if you're listening to me now on the podcast, these areas that this wellness wheel shows, and again, you can create your own pockets, but they talk about emotional, environmental, financial, intellectual, occupational, physical, social, and spiritual. And so when I look at these areas, what is a good way to start? If you're saying, okay, Celeste, you have these areas. A good way to start is to go through each area and number them between 1 and 10 on where you fall in line. So if I say my spiritual health is suffering, I don't feel connected to self, I would probably rate that as a 2, right? That means low. But if I feel like I'm doing really well in that area, I'm probably going to rate it between a 7 and 10. And I tell people if they rate anything below a 6 or 7, maybe that's the area they can start working through, right? And so one of the things that I'm going to do, I'm creating a free course on this right here, because I really I feel like this is a really good start to, and when I say this, for people that are listening to me, I'm creating a free course to this wellness wheel, because I really want people to start to look at their life and see they can actually start making changes. I think sometimes socioeconomic status, our financial situation, not having access to certain services kind of prevent us from being able to start the process of working on what we need to work on. We look at that as a barrier. And instead of looking at the barriers that are preventing us from getting to the place where we need to be, I really want people to be more solution oriented. So I may not be able to do X, Y, and Z, right? That might be the ideal solution to me being able to work through the struggle that I have. But because I can't do that, what can I do? And sometimes it's something really small that we kind of look past, because it's not up here. It's not this bigger thing that will really set it off, but it's something small. And it's the small thing is okay, because the baby steps, every time we take baby steps to getting to where we want to be in life, I feel like progress starts to get made. But because we don't think in that way, a lot of times it's just barriers, barriers, barriers. Believe it or not, your mind will only focus on the negative. I use this example all the time. I say, if I go to a restaurant, I eat 50 times. On the 50th time, right? No, 49 times. I eat 49 times. I eat on the 50th time, I get food poisoning. Guess what's going to happen? The 49 times that nothing happened at that restaurant is going to be washed. That last time that I got the food poisoning is going to stick in my head, and I'm probably not going to want to go back to that restaurant. There's something about negative experiences that keep us wound up and keep us and prevent us from being able to look at the positives that are happening, which is why I say you have to be really intentional on your day-to-day. You have to be really intentional on making sure that you're processing the things that are happening in your life. You can have a good day at work and drive home, and within 30 seconds, somebody cuts you off and it really pisses you off, and you go home pissed off because of 30 seconds of somebody cutting you off, as opposed to the 8 hours that you enjoyed for the day. And so because we're not intentional on being in tune to man, that really pissed me off, that made me upset, but not really processing well, that person's gone, they don't matter. How is me being mad affecting them? It's not affecting them. It's only affecting me. I think when we really start to break it down, we'll start to see that a lot of the struggles and a lot of the internal turmoil that we're having is because of what we're creating in our head about the situation. If we really start to break some of the situations down, we start to see how faulty our thinking is, right? And so with this wellness wheel, if you can go through each area. So when you Google a wellness wheel, if you Google the wellness wheel, they have definitions for each section on it. And sometimes with the, let's say social section. If people want to break it down, like let's say they really want to work on their like relationship with their spouse, or they really want to work on the relationship with their kids, they can even break that up even further and say relationship with kids or relationship with spouse. So this wellness wheel is something where they have like the base, the 8 bases, the 8 boxes that are pretty standard, but there's no right or wrong way to create this wellness wheel. Like you can make it the way you like to make it. So I would say like that's a really great start to if you're finding yourself struggling, you feel like there's different areas that you're struggling in. I would highly recommend doing this because I'm sure there are some areas where you're going to find yourself scoring higher than others, and it'll give you a basis to see like where are you struggling the most, like what needs the most attention right now. And if you start doing that on a like regular basis, like once a week or once every 2 weeks, checking in with it and seeing how you progress, I feel like that gives us some hope with like working on the things that we want to work on. And I think that when we start to work on the things that are bothering us or that are hurting us, if we work on it, I feel like we start to think about our life differently. And I think that our mind and our body know that we're capable of doing the work that we need to do within ourselves. But because we're not doing it, we struggle with being anxious. We struggle with feeling depressed about it, right? And then I think that when our mind and body sees that we're working on it, the struggles that we're having around the situation don't feel so dire. And I promise you, like when you start working on it, things starts to look different. So I really hope that was helpful. I hope that makes sense. If anything I ever say to you like resonates, you have to understand that you have the power to make the change. Like I can't stress that enough. I feel like we have a lot of power in us, but a lot of times we are our biggest enemy. We stop ourselves from progressing in life. And if we start to understand, like we have faith, and then if I have faith in Celeste and nobody can take that away from me, then what you say to me won't matter. How you view me doesn't matter. So find me at celestetherapist.com. If you want to support me in the podcast, you can follow me on literally every social media site. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, and YouTube. So you can follow me on all those social media sites. You can share this podcast. If you are listening to me on a podcasting platform where you can rate me on any podcasting platform. And so share this with a friend. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys for always rocking out with me. We are, just a quick update, we're like at 76,000 downloads. So we are very close to 100,000 downloads, and we're in 115 countries. All of the countries listening to me, I love y'all so much. I appreciate y'all for always like having me locked in, having me locked in hard. I love y'all so much. But until next time, I will talk to you guys later. Yay, I'm finished. Thank you so much. My daughter's in here. Nice job with the live. You are the best, mommy. Thank you. Hi, Rose. All right. So thank you. Today's Thursday, y'all. I'm like mad late. I was supposed to come on Wednesday. So if you've never been into the YouTubes before, on Wednesdays I come on live and I record it. So after I like record this on YouTube, thank you. Really, I appreciate you. I feel like every time you always come in here and give me positive vibes, and that's why I appreciate you, Rose. So every time like Wednesday I come on and I like record this on audio. So thank you, Maurice. I record this on audio and then I upload it to the platform. So like within the next 5 minutes, this audio is going to be on the podcasting thing. So if y'all are listening to me on like any podcasting platform, make sure y'all rate me, help me climb the charts, because we about to be at 100,000 and I can't believe it. I'm so excited. All right, guys. I love y'all so much. Thank you. I'm going to go. Bye-bye.